Welcome to my immigration story. I am your host, Sujata Ramteke. This is an ongoing series where we bring to you stories of immigrants from varied backgrounds, and we hope to shed some light on the challenges and the triumphs experienced by the immigrants in America. And today we have with us Stephen Nguyen. Hi, Stephen. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Stephen, tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from and what you currently do.
Well, I'm currently studying psychology, but like down the road, I realized that that's something that I don't want to do because even in high school, we were doing like filmmaking a lot, and I just like storytelling. So I'm like, okay, might as well just try out being an actor. Here I
And where are
am
you from?
I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. So, and how long have you been in US?
I was born here.
Oh, you are from
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Tell us something about your TikTok channel.
well, my TikTok channel, I just basically did it for fun. I never thought that it would like take off the way I expected it to. Like I was just being sarcastic and my I wouldn't call them fans, well, I just call them fans, but they were just like, oh, just like the way you just feel us, make them feel at home and like I'm like a second uncle or dad, mentor, brother to them.
Do you your parents, where are they originally from?
Vietnam.
Do you often go to Vietnam?
Yeah, I've been I would say 11 times already.
Mm.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you go there? How is it different from being here?
As like compared to the people that know me already, they don't feel like I'm an outsider. But people that don't know that I'm like half, they would I wouldn't say mean things, but they just say, "Oh, look at this black guy, look at this African American." Like, oh, just they just I don't know why they're so shocked because if Europeans or Americans they come over, they're like praised, they're like, "Oh my God, this and that." But if it's me, it's completely different. I
Mm.
don't know if it's whatever they see on TV or whatever they hear, but that's just how it is.
So, what are the other challenges you face when you go back to Vietnam?
I'm called, yeah, they call me a war baby and like they ask me, oh, what am I doing here? You have a better life in America. Like, what are you doing here? I'm just telling them that, I just feel like I'm at home here rather than in America.
Mm. So do you see a lot of like social taboos in Vietnam? Do you experience that a lot when you go there?
Yeah.
I mean, what are those? Like what other things you experience?
Like, say, I was holding my niece. She's about like Jayla's age. The
Mm.
time she was like 3 years old, I was holding her in my arms, and they're saying, "Oh, why did I come over here to recreate?" Even though they didn't know I was my niece, I didn't. I'm not with anyone at the moment, but they were like, "Oh, why did you just come over here and reproduce? You should have just kept all that to yourself and just kept it in America. Why reproduce in Vietnam?"
How do you see how do you see this I would say discrimination, right? When you go to Vietnam, you see that discrimination. Do you feel, is it because you know, US and Vietnam does have a history of war. So
Yeah.
do you feel that the discrimination that you face is because of that, or is it because of you being African American? How do you see this?
And sometimes I think about it because I do have family that's like half white, coming from the war as well. I think it has something to do with the war because I wasn't there at the time. You weren't there. The kids in the studio weren't there, and like we weren't there at the time to figure out what was the reason, what was going on, and they just don't like it when like other people from outside, like other countries, come and invade the country. That's all.
Hmm. How do you find like the cultural aspect of Vietnam? Like it's a very culturally rich country. Um,
Hmm.
Even like the the Asian countries have very rich cultural heritage.
Hmm.
Um, do you enjoy that? I mean, despite the fact
Yes.
that you are like, discriminated, or the way they treat you, do you enjoy those cultural, heritage when you go to Vietnam? And can you tell us more about like what sort of things you do when you go there?
Well, there normally like I'll do charity work. It's like whatever, like my friends and family over here, whatever they would like to send with me back to Vietnam, I would buy like rice, instant noodles, like just normal condiments for the people that are needy and just for them to survive, and I give them like almost $50 each. It'll be about 200 people, so that's a lot of money. Just to look on their faces to see that like someone that's like just like them, but just a different shade of color that's like helping them. Why is it that the people that's in Vietnam are helping them, but I have to go out my way and help them, even though I wasn't born there. My parents and my grandmother was, but I still like I have a piece of me there that has to do good.
What are other cultural things you enjoy when you go there, like food, or
Oh,
I'm not
the
sure
food,
about the weather.
the food definitely, the weather. Well, I'm not sure where you're from, but like in Asia, you know how Asia is. One minute it's hot, the next minute it rains like crazy, and then it stops. And then like during like December, January, yeah, it might get cold, but it's not too hot during the day. But it's like hurricane season all year
Mhm.
round.
What are the other things, like in US it's more freer, you can do whatever you want, but
Yeah.
how is the society like framed there in Vietnam? What you see is like, oh, here it's much better than what you have in Vietnam.
Yeah, in Vietnam, they'll think that here in America, we all have the rich house, the white picket fence, and we drive nice cars. They think that we don't struggle over here when we actually do. It's hard everywhere, not just Vietnam. You have to
Mhm.
work hard everywhere you go. This doesn't fall in the sky.
Do you feel like, with you did mention that you face all that discrimination, but still, do you feel like, someday you would spend there like most of your time, or you feel like, no, I'm good in US?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, I did think about it. I told my nephew now, I'm like, if Uncle Steve retires, he might go back to Vietnam. But then again, I would rather enjoy my life over here more.
Hmm.
Not just because I wouldn't say I don't like Vietnam, but just like the healthcare, the economy, and like if something was to go wrong, doctors over here can help me. Rather than Vietnam, because Vietnam, like yes, they have good doctors, but it's just not advanced as over here.
Do you ever try like understanding, because there is a history. I personally, like, I'm from India, so I read, kind of try to connect a lot with, because we were ruled by British.
Hmm.
So a lot of the things I find that we have borrowed from them. So there are several things that I now, when I see, because I work with British people, so I see that, oh, I'm following this because they have ruled us and they have given that to us. There are very good things that came to India with British, like education. English education came with British. If they wouldn't have come to India, we wouldn't have had English education. We would still
Mm,
had that local language education.
yeah.
So what do you think are some of, like, what sort of things you see when you go to Vietnam, that, okay, this came here because of the Americans were here for a long
Yeah,
time?
I've
What are
been
some of
told that a lot, like from like English and like different like what is it? Different types of food. Like the economy is way different from like back in like the early 2000s. And what now I notice is like more and more like businesses emerging, like with the French, the English, even Indian people. I saw Indian people and I'm like, wow, you guys over here too. And they asked me, "Oh, is it okay if we
here
stay here? Well, you
everywhere?
guys can stay here for as long as you guys want. We're not judgmental. Your home is my home." And they told me that. you're one of the first people that told us, you're welcome to stay here. I'm like, no, you have no problem. Just stay here as long as you want. We're
Um,
more diverse now, what I would say. But back then it was just bad. But now it's getting a little bit better.
mhm. So like when you were child, when you used to go there, and now when you're grown up, do you see a lot of difference? Because as you said, a lot of things are like getting cosmopolitan now. The
Mhm.
world, any country where you go, you see a lot of people from other countries too. So mostly all of the countries are kind of more accepting now. And for India especially, it is not as it was like 15 years back. I can see the
Yeah,
difference.
yeah, yeah.
How is that? Do you feel that there is a change, or the change is coming in the mindset of the people, and maybe in future 10, 15 years down the line, they won't be as discriminative as they are now?
Yeah, change is coming because now, even when Jerry mentioned it earlier, I'm really famous. I thought that I wasn't really all that famous, but going back last summer, once I got to the airport, there was like people like yelling my what is that thing called, username, and I'm like, oh dear God, I wish I could just go back on the plane and go home. They're like, no, 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 come stay with us. And there's people inviting me to go party with them. I'm like, no, no, I appreciate the offer, but I'm just here to visit family and you know be on vacation for a while.
You are a student. You must be having a lot of things to you must be working a lot, because here the curriculum, what I found in US
Mm.
is pretty aggressive. You have to do quite a lot of things when you are studying. So I said you are a student, and you
Mm.
have to go through a lot of things. Here, students have to be really like multitasking and a lot of hard work. So
Mm.
for our viewers, do you have any advice for viewers who are still studying and want to get through their courses? Do you have
I
anything
would
for
I would
students?
tell them, I know it's very nerve-wracking and really hard. Yeah, I've cried, I would say 1,000 times in college, but you'll get through it. It's almost done. Keep going. Keep
Do you
going. You'll
have
get
any
through it.
advice? Do you have any advice in Vietnamese, if you can, to people in Vietnam, or specifically students who are coming from Vietnam to here
Mm.
for studies? Do you have any advice? Do you want to say in Vietnamese?
Um, sinh viên mà đi qua học du lịch á, có ráng học đi nha. Biết Steven cũng biết ở bên đây nó cũng rất là khó, mà mai mốt mà học kia xong á là tương lai rất là sáng. Đừng có bỏ học nha, ráng học đi. And that's pretty much it. I was telling them that, going to school here is not easy, but if you don't give up, and you look back at it and you just think, hey, if it wasn't for, me or you or the kids in the studio, I'm telling them not to give up. They would have never made it this far in their journey.
Wonderful. That's
Yeah,
very inspiring. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for coming to our show. We
you're welcome.
absolutely love talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching my immigration story. I am your host, Sujata Ramtege. You can watch this show on local channels or on our website, fcatv.org. I'll see you next time.